Hi everyone, Cheryl Arkle. Hi, Cheryl Arkle, what are you reading? This is our favourite segment every Thursday, 2 p.m, and we tell you what we're reading and you tell us what you're reading. Hi everyone, Cheryl Arkle. Now, we're going to start with our book of the week, okay? This is called The Last Trace. It's by Petronella McGovern, who lives right here in Sydney. And it's a gripping thriller about, oh, that's the doorbell. It's a gripping thriller about siblings and secrets and the traces we can never erase. So this is Petronella McGovern, and she's written our book of the week, and it's called The Last Trace. Now, Petronella, as I said, is local, and she's coming in on Monday, and she's going to be filming with Margaret Hickey, Authors on Authors. So that's coming soon, and you heard it here first. Now, you know our Authors on Authors program. We're going to show you a little bit of it now. It's on YouTube. So if you want to watch it, we've already done Michael Connolly and Candice Fox, Tim Ayliffe and Anna Downs, Rachel Johns and Belinda Alexandra. And here's a little bit of a snippet, if you like.
Yeah. It's more like Linda Alexandra panicking about a deadline in a sweatsuit with cat fur all over her.
Started writing books because I loved it. I loved just creating a world and being in making my own characters up, and I love reading.
All sorts of things. What country could I go and live in?
Right, well, that was Authors on Authors. So if you want to have a look at that, we're going to put the link in the comments. That's going to YouTube, and you can have a look at it there. So Petronella, as I said, this is her book of the week. It's called The Last Trace, and she will be here on Monday with Margaret Hickey, and they're going to be doing or shooting Authors on Authors. Okay, look out for that. Welcome, everyone. Cheryl Arkle, what are you reading? This is the show where we tell you what we're reading and you tell us what you're reading. I can see that our regulars are on already. Caroline's there. Hi, Caroline. It was a crime week for Caroline with Red River Road by Anna Downs is what she was reading. So Anna Downs is features on Authors, and she is with Tim Ayliffe. And that book has sold really well, actually. The Detective Up Late by Adrian McKinty, and One of Us is Missing by B.M. Carroll. All enjoyable novels. So you read all three of those in the 1 week, Carolyn. Wow. And yes, there's a theme running through all of those, aren't there? Crime week for Carolyn. Kylie says, hello. Hope you have had a great week. I have. I've been having a terrific week. Thank you, Kylie. Kylie is still reading We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. Been a bit slack with my reading so far this month. That's fine, Kylie. When you get to it, you get to it. Malvina says, hi, Cheryl. Lovely to be here. Malvina's reading The Underground Library by Jennifer Ryan, enjoying the Authors on Authors as well. Keep them coming. Malvina, we will keep them coming. We are loving shooting them. The authors are loving having the chats, and you at home are enjoying watching them, which is fantastic. Okay, Christine says, hi. Hi, Christine. Karen says, hi, Cheryl. Great to be back. And what are you reading? Sorry, I've been a bit AWOL. Have you been busy, Karen? That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm reading The Mistress of Dara Island by Avril Kenny. We love Avril. That's fantastic. Hi, Sandra. Sandra's just finished Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens. Now, we were only talking about that, Sandra. Are we able to get a cover up? I don't know if we can. But we had, what I want to tell you about Chai Time is we had, what's the author's name? Is it Shakira Chandra in? I don't know if I got that right. But anyway, can somebody tell me her name? Shankari Chandra in. And we filmed this beautiful video of an interview with Shankari and I, and that was not long after she won the Miles Franklin for Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens. So that's coming soon, and we're going to screen that on the YouTube channel of Authors on Authors. So look out for that. It's such a treat. So I'm glad, Sandra, for prompting me with that. That was a nice segue. Alicia says, hi, I'm reading oh, there she is. Right over my face there. Chai Time at Cinnamon Gardens. What? Can you put that back up? That's a beautiful cover. Look at that gorgeous cover. She won the Miles Franklin. Really wonderful author, wonderful speaker. So can't wait to watch that interview. Okay, thanks there, Verity. Okay, Alida is reading The Chilling by Riley James, and she was very excited to receive this for our review, Better Reading Review. You all know about preview. All you have to do is subscribe to the newsletter, and then we have 2 or 3 previews a week. It's all random, but you can register it, and depending on how many books we get, whether we get 50 or 100 or whatever it is, then we give out those copies for review, which is wonderful. And, you know, it's almost 100% return rate. We get about 100 people who come back, 100 or 50 or 30 or however many books we give away that come back with a review, which is absolutely terrific. So thank you. And I know you all love it. Kaz says hi and is reading This Is Where You Have to Go by Linda Holden. That's the link there for if you want to look at on YouTube and you want to check out Authors on Authors. That link is right there. Janine, hi Janine. Janine has just read The Last Word by Ellie Griffiths. Excellently intriguing. And Janine loves books where writers retreats and book clubs, especially when there's murder involved. Now, actually, speaking of that, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the trend in historical fiction. So Belinda Alexandra, The Invitation, she's been writing for historical fiction for a long time. I'm going to put these up. This is historical fiction as well, is it? No. Yes. No Hearts of Gold by Jackie French. We love Jackie. Jackie is an adult fiction writer as well as a children's writer. She wrote Wombat Stew. There's Beyond Summerland, another historical fiction by Jenny LaCote. Now, I'm going to hold all of these up. This is another historical fiction under, what would you say, is a Llewellyn Sky. Cerulean, is it? Cerulean Sky. And this is a beautiful book. Look at that. Look at that gorgeous cover. Now, it's set in 1911. 2 English roses embark on an adventure under the Indian sun. What I want to talk about, and this is Paula J. Bevan. So I'm highlighting all these historical fiction books because I was on a podcast the other day talking to somebody, and we were talking about the popularity of historical fiction. So people like Belinda Alexandra have been writing for a long time, Fiona McIntosh, so many people. Who else? A million writers. But also, too, there has been a resurgence and there's lots of new debut authors writing historical fiction. Anyway, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is I want to know what your view is. Do you like historical fiction? That's the first question. And why do you like historical fiction? So they're the questions for today. And I want to see some answers in comments. Okay. All right. Susan says, hi, Cheryl. Just started reading The Homestead in the Eucalyptus by Leonie Kelsey. Just finished The Mistress of Dara Island as well. Christine says, I'm currently reading A Routine Infidelity by Elizabeth Coleman. A brilliant read. Thank you, Christine. That sounds really interesting. Natasha, hi, Natasha. Natasha just finished Good Girl's Guide for Murder by Holly Jackson. It's a young adult pick for my adult book club, currently listening to The Wild Laughter by Irish writer. Now, I don't know how to pronounce that, Kaylin Hughes. Now, that's amazing that you should mention her because I think she's coming in. She's going to be in Australia soon. And I think in August, she's going to be coming in and she's going to be doing an Authors on Authors. Yeah, so there you go. Wow, that was a segue. Thank you, Natasha. I don't know how to pronounce that. Can somebody tell me how to pronounce? Is it Carol? I don't know. Those Irish names can be quite hard. Hi, everyone. So you've got 2 questions out there. We just talked about historical fiction. We've had, it's been a genre that's been selling for a long time. However, we have had a resurgence. So the 2 questions is do you read historical fiction and why do you like historical fiction? Okay, so I want to see some of your answers in comments. I want to talk about Lost and Found. I don't know if I talked about this last week by Tim Sharp. I interviewed him recently for a podcast. Really, really enjoyed our conversation. This is more like a memoir as well. He is I think he's a psychologist, and he's suffered a lot of depression himself when he was quite young, and tended to move into that area, and is now a doctor in terms of Dr. Tim Sharp, and he's written a few books on happiness. And this is a book on happiness and also a memoir as well. But we had really a great conversation. I can't wait for that podcast to be out for you guys to listen to it, because we have such high expectations of happiness. And what we often don't realise is it's just there in everyday life, Okay, so that's that. I want to talk about Caroline Overington, who's got a new book, and we're going to put that up on the screen. She came into the office the other day as well, and we love Caroline, and I know you guys love Caroline. This is her new book, and it's called Looking for Eden. We recorded a fantastic podcast that's coming soon, but also too, we recorded book chat. Now, I know you guys love book chat, and we don't do it as often as we should because she gets busy traveling, I get busy traveling, and then, we're often not in Sydney at the same time, but we have been, and we were this week, and we have recorded what I think is a fantastic book chat. So that's going to be out soon as well. I think that comes out next week. So look out for Caroline's new book and look out for our podcast as well. Oh, do you know, I wanted to hold this up because this is one of Caroline's earlier books, Matilda is Missing, and I know it was a popular one. How many of you have read this book? I'd say a lot. Okay, all right. What have we got? Melissa, I have got this. All right. Julie, hi all. Just started How the Dead Speak by Val McDermott. Wonderful crime writer, has been around for a very long time. Thanks, Julie. Hi, Joy Bell. You've been away for a while. I'm very well. How are you? Joy Bell is reading Judy Nunn's book, Black Sheep, and enjoying another book from a great author. Okay. Yvonne, is reading Ruth Ware, One Perfect Couple. Jane Harvey, hi Jane, has just read The Mother Fault by Kate Mildenhall. Now, just on Kate, she's going to be coming in. We've got her booked in for an Authors with Authors, and I think she's coming in early October. We've got such a great schedule with Authors on Authors. You are just going to love it. So many authors that you talk about, you'll be able to actually watch in conversation, which is wonderful. So Jane is also reading The Running by Sly Lowe and Mothers and Daughters by Erica James, all great reads. Kaz said she totally enjoyed Black Sheep. Joy Bell, love historical fiction. I have learned so much. Well, this is right. Like, even though we put it is historical fiction, the authors, as we all know, because they tell us, when we speak to them, that they put a lot of work into the research. So although it's fiction, a lot of it is based on non-fiction research, if you like. Melissa says, love historical, takes you to another place and time. Yep, that's another escapism, which I think was what we all need at the moment. Anyway, yes, that's why we like it. Tell us why you like historical fiction. Joe says, hi to the book lovers. So that's hi to me. Firstly, I have to tell you, Cheryl, that I haven't taken my new T-shirt off. I love them. Oh, that is music to my ears. Can we get a merch image up? So Joe is talking about merch. We've got the merch T-shirts. What are you reading? Have we got mugs left? We've got mugs. Mugs are all gone. Just T-shirts. The tote bags have gone. Well, I really am so happy that you are loving the T-shirt, Joe. I love it too. Now, can we do this? Can we say, because we've talked about it now, 20% off for everybody that orders in the next 24 hours? Okay, all right. So don't jump on quite yet. Give us a minute. We're going to set it up. If you jump on and order a T-shirt, and we'll put the link in the comments, 20% off for the next 24 hours or until Saturday morning. I think that's 24 hours. Okay, so Jo says that she loves her T-shirt, which I'm so happy with. I love them too, and I love a V-neck promo T-shirt very much. And Jo is currently reading The Near Daphne Experience, a unique format, easy to read. Yes, Jo loves historical fiction because she's right into genealogy. That's really interesting, Jo. There you go. Because yes, often it really does span a family life as well. Yvonne, I enjoy historical fiction as I imagine myself to be in the story. Do you? With all the lovely gowns and the beautiful setup. Do you know what I love? Sometimes when I'm watching Bridgerton and they're all sitting around doing nothing and having tea and cakes, I think, why isn't my life like that? Why aren't I sitting? I was born in the wrong era, I think. Alita, really enjoy historical fiction. The stories, especially Aussie-based stories, are very relatable and normally set against interesting history. That's so true. Janine loves historical fiction, one, particularly Australian. Thank you, Janine. And two, I like reading about regions that I am familiar with. That's fantastic. I'm really enjoying your comments. Really interesting. I mean, people are reading historical fiction and loving historical fiction. You guys are, which is fantastic. Malvina, always something to learn with historical fiction. And how true is that? That is so true. Susan, yes, I do like historical fiction. Follow Judy Nunn books. It takes you to another place. It really does. And as I said, you know, they are fiction books, but there is a lot of learning, a lot of history, a lot of magic in them. Jacqueline, love historical fiction, particularly back in the Tudor times, although any era. I love seeing how people used to live in the past. I'm about to start Alison Weir's story about Mary Tudor. Yeah, so does Alison Weir write fiction? I always thought she wrote non-fiction, but there you go. Must be fiction. Must be, is it Jacqueline? Can someone look that up? Because I'm confusing myself. Okay, so, here we go. Natasha's come back with a spelling of the Irish name, which we will have to get right because she's coming into the office. Kaylin. Oh, okay, Kaylin, I think. Thank you, Natasha. Love historical fiction to learn about places and people, plus concerns, perspectives, problem solving in that time and period, and how it might still be or not be linked to us today. That is so true. And also, you know, that whole thing about learning from history. So hopefully we've improved in many ways, although sometimes I think we have learnt nothing. But there you go. Simone, I'd love to know what is a threshold that defines whether something is considered historical fiction. Simone, that is such a good question, and I don't know the answer to that. Usually that's a relationship. When people talk about that and how a book is classified, that's a conversation usually between the author and the publisher or the editor. And I guess really there would have to be some kind of history in there, and how far back that goes, or how far forward, if you like, that goes, I don't know. But that's the conversation between author and publisher. And so by the time it's marketed to us, its cover is telling of a historical fiction or its category or what we put it in. But, you know, such an interesting question, Simone. When it comes to genres, you know, like we like to put books in genres so that we can understand and we can try and work out what this book is about. But, you know, I know a lot of you at home, you read every genre. And how important is genre? You know what? Don't even answer that question because that's going to be a question for next Thursday. How important is genre? Can we make sure we remember that for next week? Okay, so good question, Simone. Jill, love historical fiction as I often feel part of the story. Absolutely. You do feel immersed in it, don't you? Sandra, I love historical fiction, especially when I learn about a time period and its events. Loved A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabella Lunde. There you go. That was beautiful, actually. Caroline says, I don't read pre-1900 historical fiction. I used to in my teens and up to my mid-20s, but then just not my thing anymore. Anything from 1901 onwards, I would read. Well, that is specific, and I love how you've got parameters around your historical fiction. Thank you, Caroline. I love that comment. Teresa, historical fiction is great way to learn and be entertained at the same time. Currently reading Storm Child by Michael Rowbotham, which is a segue. August the 13th, Michael Robotham is going to be here in the office recording Authors on Authors with Dunica McKenzie, 7:30 p.m. We are having a live audience. If it won't be telecast live, we'll just have a live audience. We're going to have snacks, we're going to have wine. We're celebrating as well Michael's 20 years of publishing. So if you're in Sydney and you would like to come, just let us know in comments and we will give you some more information. Of course, it's a free event and we would love to have you here. Karen loves historical fiction because it fills in missing parts of history, although fiction authors use facts in the base of their novels. They absolutely do. Also, more writers are moving into post-World War II, which then takes me into my childhood and helps me to better understand my parents' relationship and our upbringing. Really interesting, Karen. That's, yeah, and it's so true. Oh, hi, Kylie. Kylie, Unwedding is a new book that is out at the moment. It's a Reese Witherspoon book of the month by Ali Condi. Sounds like a good read. Thank you, Kylie. Joy Bell, I forgot to say I love my merch library bag and bought one for my book friend. Thank you, Joy Bell. Thank you to everybody who's bought the merch. We're out of mugs and we're out of bags. We've got plenty of T-shirts, V-neck, crew neck, 20% off. And notebooks. Do you want to pass me that notebook, perhaps? So there it is. It's 20% off. If you want to go into the store, there's a link in comments. And we've also got some notebooks, which I see a lot of people using as well. So T-shirts, black, white, and grey, and notebooks. Okay, right. Marnie says, hi, I'm reading Never Lie by Frida McFadden. An easy, quick read, but really enjoying it. Okay, now a couple of things that I have to go through. Oh, Better Ask Cheryl. We launched this new service where you can ask me questions about publishing. If you're an aspiring author, an established author, and you want to know a little bit more about the book industry and how to market yourself, there it is. You just go to our website and follow the links and make an appointment. Authors on Authors we've talked about. And I think I have covered the things that I must cover. So I'm just going to go back to some of your comments. Kylie says, when I read historical fiction, I like to picture what the place in the book looks like and what the characters also look like, if that makes sense. That does make sense, absolutely, because you get this vision, you know, in your mind of what they are. And if it's historical fiction and the author sets the tone properly or the scene properly, you're right in it. Narrator, I have just finished Mrs. Winterbottom Takes a Gap Year by Joanna Nell. Well, that's another segue because Joanna is coming in also to record an Authors on Authors. So yes, that's her book. Mrs. Winterbottom Takes a Gap Year. It's a delightful read, and You Called on an Ambulance for What by Tim Booth. So they're the books that Narrator is reading. Kylie, will you be bringing back the Author Live where you used to interview them about their books? Sorry, I can't remember what that was called. Yes, that's on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. We will continue to do those. It's just sometimes getting the timing right with those, but when an author is available and when the author can do it, yes, we will be doing it. It's usually Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So we've got Thursday, 2 p.m. is us. What are you reading? And what we're doing right now. And another regular event is Wednesday at 8 p.m. when somebody's available. And we've got, and Authors on Authors, it's not live, but you can watch that on YouTube. Okay, Carolyn says, sadly, I had to abandon The Silence Factory by Bridget Collins, just couldn't get anywhere with it. Now reading Every Last Suspect by Nicola Moriarty. I usually really enjoy historical fiction because I learn so much. Thank you, Carolyn. Jacqueline Allison Weir writes a lot of fiction set in Tudor times. There you go. So it's fiction. She does a lot of series. The first series was The Six Tudor Queens, Henry's Wives. She brings out a book about May every year, well worth looking at. Yeah, absolutely, Alison. Okay. So she also writes biography as well. I thought so. And they're usually big books, but she's been around for a while. I think she's an English author. Christine, I absolutely love my T-shirt and my mug. Oh, thank you, Christine. I'm so glad. Vanessa says, hi, Cheryl, I'm reading the Dictionary of Lost Words. Love it, by Pippa. everyone loves that book. I love that book, and I love Pippa. And even the following book was fantastic. So, yeah. So that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Rhiannon says, just finished Jodie Picoult by Any Other Name and loved it in caps. And we've got a surprise Jodie Picoult coming up because we've got her coming into the office, but we will fill you in with that. We'll give you more information on that when we have it. Now, I think that's it for us from now. Keep the comments coming. You know that I go home and read them at night, and I love that. 20% off tall teas for you at the moment until Saturday morning, so you can go in there and order that now if you like. Don't forget, go to YouTube, watch Authors on Authors. What's next week's question? What genre? Or just talk about genres. Like, let's talk about the value of genres. Do you use genres to select a book? Don't answer me today. We're going to do that next Thursday, 2 p.m. All right, until then, take care, and I'll